What survival myth is completely wrong and can get you killed? You can drink water from a cactus. Any liquid inside a cactus will be highly acidic and likely to cause nausea and diarrhea, further dehydrating you. The notable exceptions to this rule are the prickly pear and one species off-barrel cactus, the fishhook barrel, Cactus whistlezeni. While both of these plants are fairly unpleasant to eat raw, they have less concentrated levels of the detrimental chemicals and could give you a bit of hydration in a pinch. The other two species burrell cactus I believe give you debilitating diarrhea. Follow flying birds to find water. They can simply be flying to spend a night anywhere, so we can't rely on them. Colorado is landlocked and dry as duck and barely has any water beyond a handful of man-made reservoirs. There are seagulls here. Don't listen to birds. Had a friend from another state who was so excited to see seagulls when we went to the ocean. I was like, haven't you told stories about seagulls in your home state before? And she was like, yeah, but they weren't at the sea. So just gulls then? Conserving water. You should not stretch a glass of water over 4 days. When you are thirsty, you need water. I've heard people die of dehydration while still having water because they tried to conserve it. If you're in a hot area, don't ration your water, drink when you feel thirsty and search for more water. Edit, the myth to be avoided is rationing your water. Don't ration. Ration sweat, not water. Thank you USAF Survival School. Edit, wow this blew up lol. At SEER school they teach you to find shade and try to do as little as possible during the hotter times of the day. If you have to move you do so when it cools off. Rationing your water doesn't help you, it will only dehydrate you and impair your judgment. Your brain needs water. Depriving yourself of proper hydration is the best way to unintentionally kill yourself. If you're in a tornado, open all your windows to equalize the pressure inside to match the outside. If you're in a tornado, opening any window or door will create a wind tunnel that rips your entire roof off. If I recall correctly, it doesn't matter anyway, you waste time doing that when you need to get to the lowest part of a building and/or the innermost room. Cracks and small openings take care of air pressure as buildings aren't airtight. Overpasses are not safe places to shelter. In fact, they're more dangerous. They create wind tunnels. Average lead time for tornado warnings in the US is 9 minutes, but people still don't take them seriously. The most common refrain I've read from people who survived the Joplin tornado is that they didn't take the warnings seriously. Even with a tornado watch, they didn't pay attention to the weather. I think a lot of people don't take them seriously because they've become complacent, especially with how unpredictable the weather is. I mean, you can easily think of storms that are predicted to be absolutely brutal by your local weather person, only for it to end up passing you or dissipating or barely sprinkling. A lot of people don't realize this also happens on the inverse, where a storm can form in moments and absolutely wreck you. Plus, a lot of people didn't take it seriously because it happened during their high school graduation. I've been in 2 very damaging heat storms. One was warned about hours in advance, and I was home safely in the basement during it. Very scary, extremely high winds and nonstop lightning to the point you could see what was happening easily outside at night without a flashlight. The other one formed so fast that there wasn't even a tornado watch or severe weather alert, but we still got hit by an F1. The only warning I had was because I looked out a window and saw the clouds. This is what heat lightning looks like if you've never seen it before. Flashing lights, epilepsy warning. Edit, some people have been pointing out that heat lightning storm as a term doesn't exist, which that's what I've heard them called, and I've only ever seen them during the hottest of summer. Anytime I've seen it, it's spelled bad duckin' storm about to hit. We had a tornado warning near here and sirens going off. My kids were at work a mile away at McDonald's. I called them and they told me the manager told them they had to keep serving customers and not seek shelter. The tornado touched down only a half mile from the McDonald's but was fortunately moving away. I was on the line with corporate immediately. They started Monday safety training for managers and drills for tornadoes and fires. That manager was also reassigned. Many just ignore the sirens. Edit, clarified terms. We had an active tornado that touched down. Should have been tornado warning. It's cool that corporate was on top of it, at least. They understand the liability is nowhere near the profit from slinging burgers during tornado warning. I guess it's nice when corporate profits and our well-being align. Yeah, that is definitely something where only a store manager looking at the very small picture would ever consider the cost of closing to outweigh the risk. Concerning frostbite, do not rub someone's frostbitten skin or pour hot water on it to warm them up. Such measures will damage the skin even more severely. The fastest and safest method for warming up someone is direct animal heat, i.e. letting them put their frosty skin next to yours. Hey, if you can keep your digits by putting a cold hand on my belly, be my guest. I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I feel like in Boy Scouts they taught that the groin and armpits were good places to warm your hands in an emergency survival situation. Put your hands between your butt cheeks. That's nature's pocket. Free Waterfall SR. I think he'll go check on Bender. Watch that he doesn't pick your pocket. That moss grows on the north side of a tree. It can grow all over the tree, so it's not a steadfast rule that you should make important decisions solely on. I grew up in the rainy PNW, and when I heard this as a little kid, I looked at all the moss on every side of the trees and thought that I must just live in the most north place. Lol edit. I swear if I read another comment about how it would actually be the most south place, I might lose my dang mind more than it's already been lost. As a PNW kid learning that the moss was one way they knew they were going north on the Underground Railroad, I was very confused. I remember looking at the trees during recess and thinking it'd for sure get lost. That bullshit change your voicemail if you were lost PSA that was making the rounds over the last year. You need a cell signal to change your voicemail. If you have a signal, then why wouldn't you just call for help? Moreover, it misses the most important thing about a cell phones and being lost. 911 will work on any cell tower regardless if it's in network or even if you have an active phone plan or not. So in an emergency, always try dialing 911 regardless of your phone appears to have signal or not. Edit. To the dozens of people who replied that you are supposed to change your voicemail before going out, this is still a bad idea. If you're lost or injured in the woods, your survival depends on being found quickly. Waiting for someone to get worried enough about you not coming back to try calling you is just going to waste precious time. It's much better to just tell your friend's family where you will be and set up a check-in time so they know you made it back safely. Us cell phones and being lost, 911 will work on any cell tower. This also works in Europe and most likely a lot more countries. Just make sure you know the local emergency number, edit, or dial 112, that's likeliest to work. Emergency calls are top priority. If a cell tower is at capacity and your phone pings for an emergency call, the tower will drop other phones to make your call come through. As always, emergency calls are always free. As far as I know, any country's emergency number will work internationally. E.g. 911 in the UK still goes through to the emergency services despite 999 being our number. Basically, if you don't know the local one, at least try yours or 911. I imagine 911 is the most obvious foreign number to have been added. Edit. Just to reiterate, always know the number of the country you're in, but obviously if you're trying to call it, you're in an emergency and it's worth trying any numbers you know. I believe they made 911 always work because movies and TV always use 911 as the number since they're made in America. Split to cover more ground. Most of the stuff Bear Grylls does. Like eating raw meat, picking and eating fruit out of bear shit, or squeezing the juice out of elephant shit and drinking it. You cannot eat everything that an animal can eat. There are things animals can eat that humans find toxic, so eating everything you see animals eating can lead to you potentially eating deadly berries or mushrooms. Yeah, and it goes both ways. Humans can eat stuff like chocolate and grapes, and other animals can't eat chocolate, and I know dogs definitely can't eat grapes. Joke answer: dogs can't eat grapes because they don't have thumbs. Serious answer: it causes kidney failure. The exact mechanism is still unknown. Literally eats its own shit you pee. Life is good.
Eats a grape, oh, I am slain.
Just because water looks clean doesn't mean it is. You've got to boil it or distill it to actually have clean water. Or carry a modern filter like a Life Straw or Sawyer if you think there's even a remote chance you're going to be stranded with no potable water. I'll also add that drinking dirty water is always a better option than going without water. If you are dehydrated but don't have a way to sanitize your water, drink the water anyway. There's a chance it will make you sick or maybe even kill you in very rare cases, but dehydration will always kill you. Or carry a modern filter like a Life Straw or Sawyer if you think there's even a remote chance you're going to be stranded with no potable water. Those things are amazing. The creators really went out of their way with the marketing. Sipping on literal raw sewage and spitting out clean, drinkable water. One thing to note about the Life Straw is that it doesn't actually offer full microbio-viral protection. I have one in my hiking camping survival bag, but I also carry water treatment drops. It's a good idea to use both at once. The straw for the particulate, and the drops to kill any microorganisms destroy viral cells. Sawyer is 0.1 micron, there's not much bacteria protozoa that can pass through it, 99.99999% effective. It's good for both Giardia and Cryptosporidium, the most common concerns. Viral contamination is not much of a concern in the US. For some countries, I would be very wary of drinking the water and take multiple precautions: filter, boil, tablets.